this same movie again. Windows and doors can't keep me in. I feel my heart underneath my skin. Stack up those dreams, won't let them go. Some way, somehow my day will come. This is my time, gonna light it up. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, oh, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, you know I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire. But back to the wall is how I live my life. I risk it all, put it on the line, then blow it up every single time. It's a big world, I'll take it in. If I don't try, how can I win? This chance might never come again. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, oh, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, you know I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire. Oh, 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 oh. I'm a man on fire. Oh, 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 oh. I'm a man on fire. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, oh, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, you know I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire.
Happy Friday, May 12th, 2023. It's Chris and Mark with the NWA Exchange Podcast. The only podcast you need to listen to know everything about Bella Vista and beyond. Well, I have to say I missed you guys last week, but I'm back. Here's to you, Mr. Geriatric President Man. This bud's for you. What's going on, buddy?
Oh man, crazy. It's just another day, another way, man.
Another day, another way. Just keep on stanking on, man, as they say over there in Smelo Vista.
Yeah, for sure. How was the trip, man?
Oh, dude, yeah. So we went out to, for the viewers, went out to Raleigh, North Carolina for Oak City Shred Fest with Amped Electric Games. We had another production that we had to do, ESPN style PEV sporting production. Man, it was 1,250 miles one way, pulling a trailer in a 40-foot rig.
Crazy.
It was a haul and a half, but old big booty Bigfoot, she did it, man. You know,
your bobblehead.
The bobblehead Bigfoot just bobbling down the road, man. I tell you what, in Nashville though, man, the roads in Nashville, The brake light controller, it's a 5-wire brake light 'cause it's an older rig. Um,
Right.
and trailers use a 4-wire, right? And I have a 7-pin to 4-wire adapter. But the controller bounced off just due to the sheer amount of bad potholes. And I
Wow.
got a short. And so I ended up having to pull over, get some stuff situated to where at least I had running lights, and drove through the night and was able to make it to Raleigh early the next morning safely. And we did some wiring, got some stuff squared away for the trip back. But yeah, that's man, you just never know, man. Shakedown test, right? The emergency cutout thermostat for the hot water heater also broke on the trip because of the amount of potholes in
Wow.
Nashville as well.
What's
So
the reason behind that? What was
just
the deal with that? It just
just
seems
stuff
odd to me.
just stuff getting, I mean, it's a shakedown, dude. I mean, it's like an earthquake. I mean, every time
Yeah.
you drive one of those, it's like an earthquake.
Yeah.
And,
No, I'm
and
talking about the roads though in
oh,
general,
dude, the
man.
roads are
Usually they
just
have it
horrible,
fixed up
man.
in the spring.
No, the roads are
Yeah.
just horrible, man. So, it is what it is, I mean, but I was able to bypass the emergency cutoff thermostat because the primary thermostat was working, so I still had hot showers out there on the mountain. And the wiring for the trailer, got that squared away, made it home safely. And then
Cool.
I did receive a new brake light controller, and the ECO and the standard thermostat for the hot water heater came in today. Got those installed. So it is just part of owning one of these big, Class A diesel pushers, man. It's always something. It's a
Yeah.
little bit of mechanical, and it's a little bit of home, and a little bit of wiring, and it is what it is. Like I said, imagine your house going through, you know, earthquake, every time you take it out, I mean, like
Yeah.
stuff
I'm
rattles
surprised you could
loose,
find the
man.
parts, to be honest with you, man.
No,
I
I
figured it'd
mean,
be a pain in the butt to
no, I
find
got the
those, you
parts
know?
off of Amazon. I think the brake light controller was $15, and then the thermostats were $11. So it's fairly cheap
Good
if you know how
deal.
to do it. If you know how to do it, you can do it fairly cheap. So glad to be home, man. Like I said, it was a long drive, long trip.
Yeah, what was the total?
Really dusty.
2,200 or
I think it was like
2,300, you said?
about 2,300 miles. Yeah.
Man, you can appreciate truck drivers, man.
Yeah. Well, until they start, getting pissy with you on the mountain passes, man. Like, you know,
Yeah,
some of them are
it
like, I ain't
happens,
getting
man.
passed by no RV, man. Like they're just, they want to get over and block you. And then, like I said, the only real major issue I had, uh, with the rig was, in Arkansas coming home, doing that climb from Fort Smith to Fayetteville. This
Right.
Tesla just refused to let me over, and there was a wide load, oversized load doing 15 up the mountain.
Oh,
And I was
man.
like, I had my signal on. I was like, I need to get over. This Tesla wouldn't let me over, so I ended up having to back off the gas, and then so I got down real slow, man, and then having to like try to accelerate up a hill. My temperature kind of climbed up a little bit. Luckily, the check engine light came on right as I was getting to the top of the hill. So once I got to the top of the hill, I backed off and kind of coasted down the other side of the hill, getting back up to speed, and the temperature quickly dropped back under 200. So we were fine.
I just
No,
never understand why people don't have the common courtesy to
oh,
move over.
they don't care about you driving something that big. They don't care about
I
anybody
know,
but
but
themselves, man.
yeah, I know it's unfortunate people are like that, but you see it out here on 71 and 49 all the
Yeah.
time, man.
Yeah. And North Carolina, I'm telling you, them drivers out there are nuts, man. They're nuts. Just putting it out there. But all in all, a successful event, man. The customers were very, very happy. They see the potential for enormous growth in the future, and that's what we're trying to do with Amped Electric Games. I will have Seth Johnson on the show next week.
Awesome.
We're going to do an interview with him live from Dirt Surfers. So, he'll get to talk about Amped Electric Games and everything else that's coming in the near future. They've got Mudtown Days coming up next. They'll have a presence out there. That's in Lowell. Then we have Bentonville Bike Fest, and then obviously the main event in September with Amped Electric Games 2 out at Benton County Fairgrounds. So looking
Gonna
forward
be
to it,
busy,
man.
man.
Yeah, busy, but hey, it is what it is, bro. I mean,
That's what it's about.
building something. We got mission statements and stuff, and we believe in fostering a good PEV community, man.
Yeah.
And safety, uh, proper decorum whenever you're using shared trail systems, not being uh, bad ambassadors, being good ambassadors of the sport itself, and then obviously furthering the community as a whole and giving back to the community. They sponsor the American Childhood Cancer Organization, and I believe that we hit a milestone on that. I think we've raised over $5,000 for them already, just off
Wow,
raffles,
that's
man.
awesome.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome. There's a great crew that runs that, though. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You're lucky to have Seth and Rob and the rest of the guys there. They're really good guys.
yeah, yeah. We definitely we're looking for a good crew and the best talent that we can find to pull this off, man. And it's a labor of love. It's a lot of volunteering and a lot of time. And so shout out to my wife for allowing me to take part in this. Uh, I really appreciate. I couldn't do it without her support, man. So.
Yeah, awesome. That's very true.
Well,
Well,
tell me
let's get
what's
into it,
going
buddy.
on this week, homie. I've been out of town. You're
So
gonna have to fill me in.
I'm gonna tell you, buddy. Next week's the National Police Week from 5:14 to 5:20, buddy. We're gonna celebrate our local Bella Vista Police Department and other Northwest Arkansas police. Big thank you to all you guys for your protection and your help out there.
Yep.
I know there's a fair amount of knuckleheads they got to deal with on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
good stuff. The following week is National EMS Week. Again, first responders, fire. Can't thank them enough for everything they do.
I think this week was Public Service Week, right?
I believe so.
I
Yeah.
believe it was
Yeah.
Public Service Week this week. So thank you all thank everybody if you're in public service or the public sector. Thank you very much. As well as the police and the EMS and fire folks for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So just a friendly reminder with Memorial Day is right around the corner, May 29th, Monday. The Bella Vista offices are closed. So be aware of that. Also, we've been talking about back and forth about Reardon Hall, the renovation project going on. It was
Right.
originally scheduled to be done in September. Now, I talked to somebody else last week, and they told me that it's be lucky to get done before the first of the year. But
Oh, wow.
in any event,
Imagine that. Imagine
so
that.
they're conducting a second renovation tour on May 16th at 3 p.m. Tuesday. Probably not going to help out too many people that are working, but again,
Man.
proper
Are you going to
owners
try
are
to
doing
make
a
it down
second
there to
renovation
that?
tour.
You should try to make it down to that. When is that?
Yeah, that's at Reardon Hall. So
Yeah,
the problem
when
with
though?
that
What
is,
was the
man, I
date
just
on that?
don't
Hold
know.
on. What was the
It's
date
May
on that?
16th, Tuesday,
May 16th.
3 p.m. Yeah, I'll try to get down there and maybe
I
get some
don't know.
video, but I just don't know, man. Sometimes it depends, you know.
Yeah.
It just my schedule's all over the place. So just meet outside on front before 3 o'clock, and they'll do the tour. It'd be nice to see inside, but if they're not expected to finish till the end of the year, I would imagine they're not too far along right now. Kind of surprises me because by September rolls around, that's already a year that's been renovated.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy. So, hey, the Veterans Council Memorial Day program, also Monday, Memorial Day, May 29th at 10:40 a.m. at the Veterans Wall of Honor. You're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Jim Parsons will serve as the chaplain there.
Okay.
I haven't been out there in a while, Chris. It's been probably 4 or 5 years.
Well, they got the new segment open. Well, they started putting
Right.
in the new segment over there at the Veterans Wall because they had that expansion project going on and stuff. So yeah, the 29th, is Memorial Day. Lots of Memorial Day services going on, and so take a moment to show up and support your veterans and everybody who has given the ultimate sacrifices for your freedoms, and honor them appropriately because we're a young country, man. We are a very young country.
Yeah.
And just like any other country, we have our own problems and stuff like that. But I still believe that the United States is the greatest nation on earth. And
Amen.
it is due to the sacrifices of volunteers, of our own brothers and sisters and family members who have paid the ultimate sacrifices for those freedoms. And as a veteran, I know several people who have died,
Yeah.
you know, due to their their commitments to this country, and they did it honorably. And every deployment ramp up for a deployment, that thought goes through every service member's head is, I might not come home. So take a
Yeah.
moment to reflect on that on Monday the 29th and realize that if it hadn't been for them, you probably would not even be where you're at. So
Absolutely, Chris. Couldn't have said it any better. Hey, just a reminder, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Bella Vista Farmers Market's in full gear, taking place Sunday, this Sunday again. It'll be every Sunday all the way to in October. So
that's over at the
yeah, it'll run
Mercy
from
Mercy parking lot now, right?
yeah, everybody's confused because they still go over on Lancashire. I still see people talking about it. Well, I thought it was over there. There was a lot of confusion from the get-go because they were looking for someone to sponsor it and basically run it. So they found somebody. They're also going to have some music out there, so
Okay.
which hopefully they'll try to bring more people into that area. It's just a bad area to have it right now, Chris,
Right.
because of the construction on Mercy Way. But it's better than not having it, I guess, at this point. So,
True that,
well,
true
city
that, man.
council. What's that?
Oh, I said true that, true that. So
Yeah, for sure.
city
So city council
council,
work session coming up, buddy. Already,
man.
Monday, May 15th. I got to get back into that mix, find out what's going on there. It's at the new public safety building again. It's 2483 Forest Hills Boulevard. So
Is
get
that the
out
new
there.
public safety building where Walmart staff is going to actually like start hanging out at? Because I mean, like that's what our city tax dollars should be going for, is for senators, staff members to come and hang out, right?
It's like the Taj Mahal over there,
Yeah,
man.
it really
Oh, you
is.
haven't been in there yet?
I
It's
haven't been
huge,
in there.
man.
I've driven by
It's
it, man.
unbelievable.
Look, I have no reason to go in there. Like I said, they don't give a crap what I say at those meetings, man. Like, I mean, if I'm in there, it's because I'm getting hauled in there, okay? So,
Oh man, you crack me up. Hey, the following week is the regular schedule meeting. It's always nice to go to the work session. You got to explain to people because you get an idea how this thing's gonna go the following week, and
yeah.
there's some real gems you can pick up, man. People that'll blurt out something, and you do your due diligence, you can find a lot of diamonds there.
Oh
So,
yeah, well, there's
the
some real
following,
gems in there being disrespectful to constituents and
we got 'em
mayoral
on hot,
candidates and everything else, man. So
we got 'em on hot mics all the time,
hot
buddy. I
mic,
love it.
baby. I love hot mic. Keep them mic'd up, man. Keep them mic'd up.
So the following week, May 22nd, is the regular city council meeting, which everybody's aware of. Same location, the new building. Keep in mind, if you want to speak, get out there about 6 o'clock. You can sign up and speak your piece, man. And that's
Yeah.
about it. So there's John.
Oh yeah.
So John Form. So let's get into stuff that really matters. 10 box cost plus, buddy. That's
Yeah,
your
buddy. Frugal Fridays. Look at these T-bone
Yeah.
steaks, baby. $4.97 a pound. A pound.
Yeah, man.
A
Yeah, can't beat
pound.
that, man.
Dude.
Good time to stock up that freezer,
T-bones,
man,
bro.
for Memorial Day.
Poo-wee.
Yeah.
T-bones, bro.
Bone-in pork sirloins for your carnitas, man, 95 cents a pound. Drumsticks, 48 cents a pound. Raw peeled and deveined shrimp, 41 to 50s, $4 a pound. Man, you can't beat that. And 73% ground beef. I know you like the 80. I don't blame you, but for $2.58 a pound, not a bad deal, man.
Yeah. And then you got your delicious strawberries, $2.68 each.
Yeah.
1 pound.
So I'm gonna try to get up
$2.68 for
there.
a pound of strawberries. Don't worry.
we're gonna
We
be-
got another thing for all you vegans out there, like your avocado toast, man. Avocado's $1.68, man. Your large sweet cantaloupes, $2.47 each, man. And then your
You
orange
notice
juice,
how I never bring
$2.28.
that up?
What?
You
Yeah.
notice I never bring up the
Yeah.
vegetables.
I gotta bring up the vegetables, brother. I gotta bring up the vegetables.
The fruits, no, it's
fruits.
no go, man.
Look at that.
So,
But here's the deal.
So-
Here's the deal of the week, man. Your assorted candles, right? Who doesn't like a nice smelling home when you walk in? These candles, assorted candle light candles, $5.32 each. Go out and sniff a few. But also, they got $59.91 red metal garden beds. That would look good over in my little bonus area that I have. And Mother's Day is Sunday. Tulips, $10.99 each. Make sure you take care of that woman in your life. Even if she's not a mother, she's guarantee you she's probably a dog mom. Okay?
Yep.
Got to take care of the ladies this weekend.
Absolutely. So what do you want to do? Do you want to get into it, take a quick break?
Take a quick break, get some of this stuff shut down. And this video is a promo for Dirt Surfers, which is happening next weekend out at Passion Play, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It'll be a one-wheel racing event. I believe 8 courses, downhill mountain courses on one wheels only. They will have multiple categories, but you're going to have a pro category, open category, which allows modified boards, modified controllers, and then obviously there's going to be a woman's category and then amateur categories. It'll be 8 segments for the pros and 7 segments for the amateurs. And I'm trying to think of amateurs and legends and Clydesdales. The pro category will have a bonus race, which is pro only, which has mandatory features that you have to hit. It's going to be a good time. It's free to the general public to come out and watch the races. There is no admission fees. They do ask that you make a donation to Passion Play when you come into the venue, if you have the means to do so. But it's going to be a wild and fun race out there again, and we will be out there doing interviews and video capture and photo captures over that weekend. I believe we're probably plan on going out Thursday afternoon and returning on Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on how we feel. You know, it's going to be a lot of work out in the woods. A lot of pick and ticks too, man. I'm going to have to lather up in DEET and everything else. But
it's a good time though, man. Last year,
is.
if you haven't been to it, it's something really cool to check out though,
Yeah.
man. I was really impressed, you know, by the layout. And remember that rain?
Oh
man,
yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah, hopefully it looks like the forecast is shaping up, so we should have some really nice weather for the races. I'm looking forward to the drop comp and being able to capture all the action out there on the drop competition. They are using my photo from last year's drop comp for their official shirt this year, which I'm happy and proud of. Man, I get a free shirt, you know. So it's like, hey,
Awesome.
but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so here's a little bit of a sneak preview of some of the practice runs out there with the Nasties crew, and you know, my time doing some site visits out there, trying to figure out the logistical challenges of trying to broadcast it. So here you go. We'll be back shortly.
Nowadays, we're so blessed. There's really no feeling like mobbing down a single track trail on a one wheel in the backwoods of Arkansas with your best friends, with your family. Can't beat it. There's nothing like it.
We are back from that short intermission break. Got a couple tabs closed out. CPU's running smooth and cool right now. We did have some drop frames, only 1.2% though. So the gremlins mess with us from time to time. It is what it is. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, we had a bad run for a few weeks, man. It was getting
Yeah.
frustrating.
And
You know?
something's going on with your camera right now. You've cropped in somehow. I don't know. You're moving on me, buddy. Did something like I don't know. Did you?
No, I didn't move. I can tell
It
you
didn't
that.
move. Yeah, we're gonna get that fixed. So, I think the big topic I think that everybody's buzzing about right now, brother, is this town hall. Let me get you situated over. Get over here, son.
Well, the Trump town hall.
The town hall that CNN did, I think that kind of blew up in their face a little bit, man. I watched a good percentage of it. I do think if our viewers haven't watched it, they're gonna have a hard time finding it on top of it too. And why is that? That's due to well, CNN got their butt handed to them by Trump, and the full video is very hard to find on YouTube these days. But thank you very much for Rumble. It's still out there on Rumble, and we're gonna go over here to go to Pepper Peep on Rumble, and we're gonna watch a little bit of this, and we'll pontificate on it.
This should be interesting.
Yeah. So let's see if we can get this. It may be a little bit better format.
Isn't it kind of ironic? They're doing a town hall he's doing a town hall with CNN.
with CNN? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Yeah.
But I just some of my initial observations of this, and we're gonna be moving around a little bit on this. Is the lady over here that's doing the she's hosting the town hall. Man, just listen to the demeanor of this individual as she goes into some of these questions.
President Trump, thank you for your time here tonight. We got a great crowd here in New Hampshire, a lot of voters with a lot of questions about what your 2024 term would look like, what another Trump term would look like. We'll get to the voters shortly, but your polls show that you are dominating the Republican race right now, but you are also under active federal investigation for trying to overturn the 2020 election results. Your first term ended with a deadly riot at the Capitol, and you still have not publicly acknowledged the 2020 election results. Why should Americans put you back in the White House?
Because we did fantastically. We got 12 million more votes than we had as you know, in 2016. I actually say we did far better in that election. Got the most that anybody's ever gotten as a sitting president of the United States. I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience.
I just miss him, man.
I know.
Most people understand what happened.
No
It was
filter.
a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country. All over the world, they looked at it, and they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the FBI, and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr. President, back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen.
She just keeps cutting him off, though.
You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election?
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So with all of that, I think it's a shame that what happened. I think it's a very sad thing for our country. I think it's a very sad thing, frankly, for the world, because if you look at what's gone to our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad.
Very
Look
true.
at the taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation. It's just destroying our country. We've really become, in many ways, a third world country. And it's very sad what's happened in this administration. And it's something that will turn around on day one. We were energy independent. Now energy is at a level that we've never had to pay before. Nobody can afford to continue to pay what's happening with energy. But we were energy independent. We were getting out of Afghanistan with strength and with dignity. And instead, we got out. We looked like fools. Probably the most
Mr. President,
embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
we have a lot of questions about the economy and foreign
Good.
policy tonight, but what you just said there, Republican officials debunked those claims about fraudulent ballots. We want to give you a chance tonight.
Who?
See, that's the thing. They still are sitting on this freaking narrative with CNN. And you know what? They wanted to do this town hall with him. And you know what? I give them 100%. Like, I'll give them a gold star for doing this because they went in the ring with Donald. I mean, dude, we are not even in the primaries right now. Like, we aren't even doing debates yet, dude. This guy is going to wax the floor with everybody. He did it with CNN the other night, dude, and you're going to see it. He's holding his ground, dude. He's tired of the lies.
We know Ace is going to be running. We know he's in there. So I don't know who else.
She's sitting there trying to say there was no fraudulent voter activity. We know that there was fraudulent voter activity.
Yeah.
She's in there. She's still telling lies. CNN is still telling lies. So Trump's going to listen to this for a little bit, and then he's going to just go full send. And that's what I love about him.
Officials in Georgia and every single state.
Who?
There is no your own election officials, Mr. President. So we wanted to give you a chance.
People were afraid to take on the issue, but we have a big problem in this country. We
wanted to give you a chance
elections.
to
We have
acknowledge the
elections
results.
that were horrible. If you look at what happened in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if you look at what happened in Detroit, Michigan, if you look at what happened in Atlanta, millions of votes. And all you have to do is take a look at government cameras. You'll see them. People going to 28 different voting booths to vote, to put in 7 ballots apiece.
But Mr.
And
President,
they're all
I
on
have to
camera.
stop you there because there is no evidence of that. Your own election officials testified to that and have said that Republicans in these states did this. In Georgia, there were multiple recounts, including a hand recount. We have questions about the claims that you're making tonight from voters on this topic. I want to bring in Scott Dustin from Concord. He works in insurance litigation. He's an undeclared voter. That's what they call independents here in New Hampshire, as you know. He did vote for you in 2020. Scott, what's your question for the president?
Hi, President Trump. Welcome back to New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Will I suspend, excuse me, what?
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Yeah, unless I see election fraud. If I see election fraud, I think I have an obligation to say it.
If I see it, I'm going to say something, right? Isn't that the mantra?
Has really put our country in a big problem. I hope to do that. I hope we're going to have very honest elections.
That's a loaded question.
We should have voter ID. We should have one-day elections. We should have.
And it's handpicked and given to these people. You know.
But the answer is yes, and I hope that it's going to be very straight up, because if it's going to be straight up, we're going to win the election.
So you will suspend talk, to his question, about the 2020 election on the campaign trail?
I guess we're going to just win. We're at a point now. We're getting so close. Let's just win it again and straighten out our country.
One other question on this.
Win it again.
Win it again, right? All right. So that was one segment, but then she starts bringing up the January 6th stuff. We're gonna fast forward into some of that, right?
Again.
Yeah, she's sitting there trying to lead him into stuff with the January 6th, saying that do you regret anything you did on January 6th?
You didn't do anything.
500 soldiers, you wouldn't have the problem. They turned it down. And if you look at the Inspector General report, he says they turned it down. They made a terrible mistake.
Well, Chris Miller was your acting defense secretary. He says you never gave that order. But back to what happened on that day.
He
You said
did
you
not
weren't.
say that.
He has testified that, Mr.
He did
President.
not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell.
How could she sit up here and tell blatant lies?
About that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
I gotta pull it out. Yeah, see, I got all my shit on. I'm sorry, pardon my friends, but I got all my stuff, right?
So if you look at on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement.
Look at how
They are
goofy
truly
she
on the
looks.
side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior. Okay. I hope everybody's. I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look, January 6th, just at before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They
I
didn't
remember
like it
seeing
enough
that too, and they deleted
I
it.
am
They
asking,
deleted it.
and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on truth and I'm staying on truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue.
I remember him saying
Thank you.
that.
That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No,
Once
no,
it was
but you
clear,
didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
we did
taken
report
down.
it. I was reporting
It was
that
taken
day.
down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear to you that they were not being peaceful, you saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows. They were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them
Flagpoles?
up. When it was
They're showing all the propaganda pieces they put together, though, man. Because I remember seeing doctored footage. Like I was like, wow, man, that looks. I mean, you would think that, like, America just got invaded, man. I mean, you think Washington D.C. it was a civil war, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there people acting irresponsibly? Hell yeah, there was. And I don't condone that, right?
Yep.
But the vast
you have that
majority of
everywhere. What it-
right,
you know?
right. It was happening during the BLM movement. It was happening, during up in Minneapolis after George Floyd and everything else, right? It's it's no different when you got a emotionally charged crowd, right? But I saw footage of people trying to break into windows, but I also saw footage of people opening doors, Capitol police officers opening doors and letting people in and ushering people in, right? So let's call it what it is. If they had adhered to what he requested, and that was National Guard support the day prior, right?
But this is why
and Nancy would have done it, it would have never escalated to that level, right?
Right. This is why you can't take the media serious anymore. This is why their ratings continue to plummet. It doesn't matter if it's CNN, MSNBC, Fox.
It doesn't matter. I don't trust
ABC,
anything unless
NBC.
I see it for myself, man.
No. Well, they basically they killed their businesses. Now they're trying to turn them into podcasts and pretend that they're and flying other
Speaking
banners.
of killing your business, they're right up there with Bud Light, man, Anheuser-Busch. So.
Yeah.
But I want to get through a few more of these before we jump onto that freaking juggernaut that's not going away.
The 2024 election is going to be something that nobody's ever. I mean, this is going to be amazing. It's just going to be unbelievable.
It's either going to go the right way or it's going to go the wrong way, man. But I think like this is the last stand. Is to hope that we have good, election integrity. That's what worries me a little bit. Is we are such a polarized nation right now, and people are bidding their time. Until it, when you look at what the current administration's doing, man, they're demonizing anything that is patriotic, and there's been so many turnovers, I saw, I got a pop up today, basically limiting people under 21 to purchase a firearm is unconstitutional. That was ruled on, right? You can't do that, right? That's a restriction on the Second Amendment. It's like we're starting to see stuff go the right way. Right? We're starting to see that some judges are actually upholding the Constitution, but I don't think that there's enough of them. I hope that the momentum keeps on swinging that way, right? Because everything that we do in this country should be under the founding documents, and that's there's a process. If you want to modify the Constitution of the United States, Congress and Senate have a process to do that, right?
Right.
They have a process. Why aren't they using the process? Why are they using agencies like the CDC to sit here and repeal Title 42? The CDC is not a constitutional entity that has the power to do that, just like they didn't have the power to force a shot on everybody, right? They're not a they're not a constitutional authority in this country, especially to the tune where they're making profits off of stuff, and then they're mandating it and putting it on the vaccine schedules, and they're banking off of that. Right. It's a racket, and that's racketeering at the highest levels of the government.
Right. I think the American people are finally waking up and realize.
I hope so.
I think because it's starting to affect them personally and their families and what have you. And you're right, this 2024 election is going to be,
It's going to be a big one, man.
it's going to be big. It's going to be big. And I think it's going to be the largest turnout that you've ever seen, because people.
Yeah, but how many of those people are
realize-
actually going to be American citizens that are actually eligible to vote? Like, that's the other question. How many people have invaded our borders over the
12,000 a
past
day.
2.5, 3 years? 15 to 13,000 a day, right? Or 13 to 15,000 a day,
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
right? Somewhere in
Yep.
that range.
Yep.
Multiply that by 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting ready to get stupid, man. So that's why we have to have election integrity. That's why we have to have voter ID. We have to have the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. You're almost back to the point. Forget the electronics and just go back to the simple ballot, man.
Why
It
isn't
doesn't matter how long
Why
it
doesn't
takes.
Canada use electronic ballot systems? They're still using paper over there. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. We'll get into a little bit more of this.
They weren't being peaceful. Why did you wait 3 hours to tell them to leave the Capitol? They listen to you
Yeah.
like no one else. You know that.
They do. I agree with that. But
So why didn't
Nancy
you tell them to go home
Pelosi,
sooner?
Nancy Pelosi, and the mayor are in charge. I assume they were able to do their job. They weren't.
But
And it
Pelosi's
kicked
not in
in.
charge of
And
Capitol
if you remember,
security.
I made a video right outside the Oval Office in the Rose Garden, and I'm very proud of that video. I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in
But
there
what
right
time?
now.
The video. it came out much later after they had already attacked the Capitol.
It was a great.
This is blowing up in her face.
It was a beautiful video, and it said, I mean, I don't want to read it all, but you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people of law and order. We love the people of law and order. We can't play into the hands of these other people. We have to have peace. Please go home. No, I
Well,
said that.
referring
You know
to
what
the
they
law and
did?
order there,
They took
Mr.
that
President.
down, and you know, to this day, it hasn't been put up. And the reason is it's so good and so conclusive that all of this nonsense and all of the tens of millions of dollars that have been spent are just wiped away with this one. And they've never put it back up. They had another one that they did the same
But that
thing.
video that you referenced there, it wasn't posted until 4:17 p.m.
No, I'll tell
They
you,
breached the Capitol at 2 p.m.
That video was
Mr. President.
posted,
4:17
yeah,
p.m.
before, actually a little bit before that.
Right. So
Well,
that's my question.
excuse
Because
me.
in that 3 hours, over
Excuse
140
me, it was
officers
posted
were
after the
injured.
first one I just read, though, and that was at 2 o'clock.
But I think the reason the timeline is so critical here, because going back to your influence, in
Here's
that
another
3
one I
hours,
posted.
over 140 officers were injured that day.
She has no
And a
respect
person
for the
named
former
Ashley
president of the
Babbitt
United
was
States.
killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her, and she was a good person. She was a patriot.
One
There was
person
no
who
reason.
there,
There was no reason, and he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
the officer was not bragging about the fact that he
Oh,
killed
he
her.
was
But one
bragging.
person who was at the
He was
Capitol that
bragging.
day, as you know, was your vice president, Mike Pence, who says that you endangered his life on that day.
I don't
Do
think
you
he was in
feel-
any danger.
Mr. President, do you feel that you owe him an apology?
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really do.
But he doesn't have the authority to do that, as you know.
What?
The vice president does not have the authority to
Okay,
reject
are you ready?
those
Let's have this
election
one out
results.
just now because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. He made a mistake. His lawyer said, you cannot move. I called him the human conveyor belt. I said, even if the votes, I talked to his lawyer, even if the votes are absolutely fraudulent, he can't say, yes, sir, he can't say that. And the Democrats played it and the rhinos played it. And then the election was over. They told him he couldn't do it. And Mike said to me, I can't do it. The lawyers told me he can't do it. They can't do it. But the lawyers were wrong because right after the election, they all met, the rhinos and the Democrats.
The rhinos
They
and
had a plan to make sure the
the
future vice presidents don't do what I said you could do.
That's not what happened. You're referring to the Electoral Count.
See,
Act.
she's
I
sitting there
read
giving
that.
a-
There is no authority.
This is what ticks me
Just
off.
arguing.
That's not what happened. Oh, like you're the authority of what this man, the president of the United States during that
I know,
time
she's
frame
talking
went
to him
through.
Like she's a
Like
neighbor or
she's
something.
talking to him like he's a child. And
I
that's
know.
what I don't like. It's
And
so disrespectful.
Right.
No.
But she
Legal
doesn't know
experts,
better.
including Republican legal experts, say that he does not have that authority, Mr. President.
Caitlin,
But I want
why
to
did
move
they
on.
change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change the law. They strengthened the law because they were worried about
Oh, they
presidents
strengthened it, meaning
exploiting.
you could do it. Thank
That's,
you.
that's not what it means.
Thank you.
They strengthened the law
Mike
because
had
they
the
were
right
worried.
to do it. They convinced him he didn't, and it was a horrible thing for our country. If you would have sent those votes back to Georgia, Pennsylvania, and other states, Wisconsin, which if you look at Wisconsin, they virtually admitted now that the election was rigged. If
They
you
have
would have
not
sent
admitted
those
that, Mr.
votes back to
President.
many of those states, they would not come back in the affirmative. And remember what I said, and you just said it pretty much. You admitted what I said was right.
I
They
did
said
not.
he didn't have the right to do it, and he did have the right to do it, and that's why they changed the law, taking that right away.
I should note that your campaign paid for a recount that happened in Wisconsin. It actually had more votes for President Biden by the end of it. But I want to move on to Wayne Byer. He's a retired attorney from
By the
North
way,
Conway.
so
who
many
is-
illegal votes were cast in Wisconsin, and if you look in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they had so many illegal votes, they didn't even know what to do with them. You're absolutely wrong
Mr.
about
President,
that.
there weren't any fraudulent votes in Wisconsin. I do want to get to the audience, though. We have questions for
There
you
wasn't
from the
any
audience.
fraudulent votes.
Wayne Byer is a retired attorney from North Conway. He has previously served in Republican administrations. He volunteered for the Republican Party in the 2022 midterms. He voted for you in 2020. What's your question for the president, Wayne?
Thank you for coming, Mr. President.
Thank you, Wayne.
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But you know, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you look at it,
There you go.
We're not talking about them, are we?
look so many other places. Look at what it did to Seattle and BLM.
What is going on with this
BLM.
feed?
Many people were killed.
Yeah.
These people,
I'm
I'm
chewing
not
it out.
trying to justify anything, but you have two standards of justice in this country. And what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very, and it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
They're
to
living
pardons,
in hell. And they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers,
Yep.
and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people.
There's so many,
of them are just
and that's the thing. Like he actually is like talking about, like, you know, you remember after January 6th, the military going in and trying to purge people, and that's what I call it. I'm calling it purging people, but they were looking at, like, is this National Guard person that's out in D.C. a Trump supporter, right?
Right.
You're targeting people in the military based off their political, the way that they vote. You cannot
Right.
do that. You cannot
No,
do
no.
that. You can't do that, right? I mean, that would be just as equally bad as saying, hey, this person that is a Native American, right? Because, well, the government has screwed over Native Americans religiously ever since they came to this country and formed a government.
Right.
You know, they're not allowed to, you know, serve in our military, right? This is a purge moment because of how screwed up everything has gotten, but it's not on the behalf of, or it hasn't gotten screwed up because of people who love this country. It's gotten screwed up because of corrupt politicians trying to maintain that death grip,
Control.
because people have woken up and seen how screwed up it all is. It's really just screwed all of it's screwed up.
Right.
You know, we see it at the local level, we see it at the state level, we see it at the federal level. Shit's got to get right, man. It really does.
Yeah.
But I encourage everybody. I don't want to sit here. I mean, like, we're at 8:50 p.m. We're probably going to go a little long on this one, but whatever. You haven't seen me. You didn't see me last weekend, so you're going to have to suck it up, Buttercup. But what I'm saying is I encourage everybody to go out here, get on Rumble and watch this whole thing, because there's a lot of good stuff. There's at least 10 great moments where Donald just wipes their butt, CNN's butt, with their own town hall, with the snarky broad that's in there trying to. He even calls her at one point. He calls her, "You're not a really nice person." Here, we'll just border control and immigration.
Other wall that was laying down, that was up and rotting in the ground for 30 years. Some of it was steel that you couldn't even
Mr. President,
see.
it was only about 52 miles of new wall, but moving on, another immigration policy you had was the zero tolerance immigration policy that separated families at the border. If you are reelected, are you ruling out instituting that?
Well, when you have that policy, people don't come. If a family hears that they're going to be separated, they love their family. They don't come. So I know it sounds harsh, but if you remember they said I was building prisons for children. It turned out that it was Obama that was building the prisons for the children.
But would you re-implement that if you're reelected? Is that what you're saying?
We have to save our country, all right? We
So
can't
it sounds
afford,
like that's a yes.
No. When you say to a family that if you come, we're going to break you up, they don't come. And we can't afford to have any more. Look at New York City. Look what's happening. They're living in Central Park in New York City. The city is being swamped. Los Angeles is being swamped. Iowa is being swamped. Our whole country is being destroyed. Millions of people are coming into our country. And you know what the number is going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the year? Not the 4 million that you hear and the 3 million and 2. I think it's going to be 15 million people. And in these people, they have no idea where they come from. They come from 129 different countries so far. 120, not just the 4 that we talked about.
Just to put a button on that, it sounds like what you're saying is that you're not ruling out re-implementing that immigration policy. I want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican. This will be the first election that she has voted in. What's your question for the president, Caitlin?
Hello, President Trump.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
See, this is what gives me hope. This is what gives me hope. Okay, because this young girl, she already identifies as a Republican.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's cool. Go ahead and get into the two-party system if you want. I'm an independent. I'm a libertarian. I believe in the Constitution of the United States, and that's it.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
Both parties have gotten us to where we're at, and they've done it
for sure.
with colluding with each other. It's a good old boy system. It's a pendulum swing, and they know it, and they're working it like a clock. Watch what we can do. And as long as people sit here and buy into this party system, this two-party system, it's the whole divide and conquer mentality. It's pitting one side against. Realistically, what the most Americans need to be doing is stepping away from the two-party system. They need to be stepping away from it because it's not beneficial to anybody with the way that they're doing it. As long as they can keep us divided with elephant and donkey,
Right.
or blue or red, right?
Yeah.
Then they win because the people that are behind the doors pulling the strings win because they don't. But a united country can change shit real quick.
Yeah. Well, people have seen what's happened over the last couple of years, Chris, and they realize we're at the precipice right now. So my expectation is when the 2024 primaries kick off, it's going to be the voter turnout's going to be beyond belief.
Yeah.
It's going to be something.
Well,
that
it's
we've
going to be
never
beyond
encountered.
belief because we have so many illegals voting. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I mean, we got that coming up, man. But like, I want to hear what this young, like, she's never voted before, right? But she identifies as a Republican. She's gonna and taking it with a grain of salt. Not like I trust CNN. You know, they're like, she identifies as a Republican. She's probably it's a baited question, but we'll see what happens.
It clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this would never have happened. And all those dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian.
Like, he needs to really tell that host to shut up. I'm talking here.
Disintegrated right to the ground. That wouldn't have happened. Okay. Now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. they've given, meaning they, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy, they've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected?
Absolutely
What's the answer?
not.
So, why do you think
not
Putin
native.
didn't do anything until he was out of office and we had weak ass Joe in office, right?
'Cause
You know,
he was
Joe
an
ain't
easy
gonna do
target.
nothing. I mean,
He's an easy
Joe's just a
target.
repeat of Obama. Obama drew red lines. People walked over the red lines. He drew another red line and said, "Don't walk." They walked over that again. You ain't doing nothing, right?
Right. Yeah, and I said this before. You know, people look at Putin, he's a psycho. Listen, he's ex-KGB. He knows more about our counterintelligence
Yep.
than half the people that run the government.
He knows what
You know
he's
I mean?
doing. He knows what
Yeah,
he's
not
doing.
an idiot.
He's a threat.
it-
He's a threat. If
Oh,
if
no
he
doubt.
if he
He's a
if he
threat.
wants something, he's going to go for it. But he's going to do it
Absolutely.
strategically. He is a strategic person.
Right. Russia is a small part of that.
Remember
and
when
the
they did the
focus-
World Olympics over there? Like people showed up doing like newscasters, like to cover the World Olympics when they did it in where'd they do it? It was in Russia. I'm trying to remember the dang city though. Kyiv, or no, it wasn't Kyiv. It was what's the? They did them a few years ago though. It was like
Yeah,
well,
I
it's
know.
probably I say a few. It's probably like 10 years
I
ago.
can't think of the city.
But I
know
can't
what
think
you're
of the
talking
city either. But they did but like the minute that people showed up and it like connected to hotspots, their computers were being hacked. Like I mean, it was just insane. Like everybody's like, oh well, this computer's going to Russia. It ain't getting plugged into anything ever again, right? They're doing a live broadcast. That's what it's for, and it's getting wiped whenever it comes back. Like it's done. It's not getting plugged into our network. That's how bad it is over there. You show up with your cell phone, they've got all the data on your cell phone within 5 minutes. You know, they are a but that's what a communist country looks like, right?
Yeah.
And our country is slowly creeping to that same mentality, right? So we're going to make him the bad guy, though, when our
Right.
country's doing the same thing, which Snowden exposed.
Right.
Oh, my
Yeah, people have
goodness,
short
right?
memory. People have a short memory.
Yeah.
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
That
I
was when
happen
you
to
asked him
like.
for an
So I
investigation in
happen to
exchange
like.
for
Yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You
I
were
was
impeached over
impeached.
that, but let's
You were impeached over that. You know what? Who else was impeached? Clinton. Doesn't mean he was removed from office.
Right.
Right? You're impeached. It's a symbolic gesture saying, oh, we don't, Congress and the Senate doesn't agree with this. Right? Well, how easy is that to do? How come they haven't done it with Joe? Right? Oh, because he's swinging for their teams. They're still making that money. They're still doing the insider trading, right? You know, I mean, like, Trump just wasn't having it. Oh, hey, that's bad for our wallets. You know, it's easy to, I mean, like, I don't know. I think everybody sees it for what it is, man.
They do.
stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question is, would you give
Look at the
Ukraine
people,
weapons
man.
and
They're
funding?
Impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But the
Pelosi.
question
who
here
said
is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that
Oh,
war
yeah, sure.
settled
No.
in 1 day, 24 hours.
How would you settle
Yeah.
that war? in
And this is where they try to press him on, do you want Ukraine to win the war? And I love what Trump says, because this is really what it boils down to. The brass tacks boils down to this. Listen to this.
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be
Do
absolutely
you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
Here goes.
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. Now,
That's it. It's about the collateral damages of politicians.
Don't think
things
in
you have
terms
to
of
do
winning
is you have
and
to get
losing.
you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe.
just follow up on that because that's a
team or
really important
something.
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that you
just
just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 1.7.
She's trying to pit him. She's trying to be like, you want the Russians to win, right? No, I don't want anybody to win. I want this thing to be over with.
Right.
The collateral damage. If you think about mass murderers, politicians are the worst mass murderers in the history of humanity, right? Think about it. They are. Their policies or their decisions have killed more people than like some mass murder.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even Bush acknowledged with Iraq the mistake he made. He acknowledged it at least. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot.
But I mean, like that's the thing. Is like, it's not about who wins the war. It's about why are we in this war?
Right.
How do we stop the carnage? How do we stop the mothers and the fathers and the children getting bombed on the daily? Right? That's the human element of war that people don't even understand. They look at it like it's all military. It's all military. Oh, well, that they signed up for that, right? Memorial Day is right around the corner. Most of these people don't want to be doing this stuff anyway, right? But they're willing to do it. But the end result is politicians put us here. They're the ones that deployed us.
Right.
They're the ones that are making the decisions to keep us there. They're the ones setting the bar and saying, we got to take that hill, Hamburger Hill, right? You got to have that hill. For some reason, you got to put up a retrans system or something like that. So you can communicate and keep moving the off the front line forward, right?
Right.
But it's not the decisions of the actual grunts and the soldiers that are actually dying. It's politicians. Right. What's up, Ryan? How's it going, brother?
Hey, Ray.
But you get what I'm saying? Right. So politicians, and like his answer is spot on. It's not about who wins. It's about how we can put it into this crap.
Yeah, I agree.
So that people aren't dying.
Right.
And they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO, when I sat down, I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars that they weren't paying.
She's such a snark. Oh, dude, I just want to smack her, dude. Yeah.
That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I want Europe.
What's happening in Ukraine?
Excuse me, jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you respected President Putin. Do you still respect him today?
He made a tremendous mistake. He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart. He said President Xi of China, right, is smart. Okay, 1.5 billion people. He's the ruler of 1.5 billion people. I said, yeah, he's a smart guy. How dare he say he's smart? Of course he's smart. They want you to say he's a stupid person. Okay, he's not a stupid person. He's very smart. He's very cunning. And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his mistake?
His mistake was going in. He would have never gone in if I was president. We used to talk about it, Phil.
Do you believe he is a war criminal?
What?
Do you believe that Putin is a war criminal?
What's it up with
He's responsible
for
the deaths of thousands of
Well, I think
Ukrainian
it's something that should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later, because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped. Because if he's going to be a war criminal where people are going to go and grab him and execute him, he's going to fight a lot harder than he's fighting, you know, under the other circumstance. That's something to be discussed at a later date.
It is.
Right now, we
want
to get that war settled.
Settle
not
it.
talking about
Figure
the
out
money
what the
either. I'm
terms
talking about
are.
the
Who's
lives at
agreeable to
stake.
what.
The number
Get
of
it
people
done.
being killed in that war is
Stop
far
it.
greater than you're hearing.
Right.
When they blow up a city and those buildings come pouring down, and then they say 2 people were injured. No. Hundreds and thousands of people are being killed, and we have to get that war settled.
We have more with former President Trump. Right after this, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back.
So yeah, I encourage everybody to get out here and watch this whole thing in its entirety, man.
Wow,
It
that
really
blew up in CNN's face.
it did,
Oh,
and
man.
like CNN removed it from YouTube, bro. I mean,
Oh.
like you can't find it. So hit up Rumble, hit up Odyssey, watch the thing in its entirety. I'm gonna
What a
try to get
disgrace,
I'm gonna try to get one downloaded, just in its entirety, so that we can revisit this, in a couple of years when everybody's like, well, he said this. No, dude, he said this.
Right.
But
I know, it's
it
sad
blew
we
up
gotta
in their
do that,
face,
but
man.
sad you
Moving
gotta do that,
along,
Chris.
we got to move along. We are at 9. We've already been an hour and 6 minutes in. We're gonna burn through some of this stuff. Bud Light sales decline, now affecting Anheuser-Busch's other brands, according to new data. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Bud Light just keeps on doubling down. We did nothing wrong, blasey, but their nationwide retail sales of Bud Light were down 23.4% versus a year ago, week of April 29th. You know what we got coming around the corner, bro? Memorial Day weekend. Everybody's going to be hitting the rivers. Everybody's going to be doing the float trips, and I guarantee you they ain't going to be drinking Bud Light.
Well, you know what's happening? People are researching Anheuser-Busch and finding out all these other brands that fall underneath
Well,
them.
we did that.
And
We
now-
posted all their other brands too,
Yeah, I know. But tons of people are doing that. Now what's happening is it's affecting all the other brands.
There was a guy who showed up to a concert. I don't know what the concert that he went to, but he put out 3 coolers, man, and he put in like Coors Light, Bud Light, and I don't know, probably like Yingling or Corona or something like that. Probably,
Right.
Who knows, right? But had a sign, free beer.
To see what
There was Bud Light still in the cooler at the end of the concert, man. Like
Wow.
people were not grabbing that. They were like, oh, they opened the cooler, bam, slamming it. People are fed up. People are fed up with this like shoving your wokeism down our faces. That's it. People are done, dude.
I just think it's funny because the CEO had an opportunity to apologize and they just doubled down. I love this. It's enjoyable.
Well, you
to
vote
me
with
because-
you vote when you go to the ballot, and you vote with your dollars, man. And I can't. I said it a long time ago. Nike. I don't buy Nike, right?
Yep.
There's one pair of Nike in our house,
Right.
and that's my kids' soccer cleats because we
Yeah,
couldn't
it's hard
find
to
any.
find.
It was hard to find soccer cleats, right?
Yeah.
That's it,
Adidas
though.
is
Right.
Adidas has them and Mizuno's and yeah.
But we
they're tough
we
to come by.
needed proper soccer cleats for him, and that's it was there, and we just had to.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
But it's like if you piss me off, I ain't spending money at your store, man. I ain't spending money on your brand.
But
Period.
this is what I talked about before. These are publicly held companies, and we have ones that are local here do the same nonsense. They push the propaganda. Their responsibility is to make money for their shareholders. It's that simple, man. But they can't shut their yaps. They keep on going on, man.
Yeah, it's just like you sell beer. It's like you're virtue signaling off of selling beer, right? Like, okay, let's be real for a moment.
Right.
You sell beer.
Yeah.
There is no virtue to be had with beer.
Well, they wanted to listen. They wanted to be hip. Now they're hip. I mean, it's going to cost them money.
Oh yeah, you're hip. You're hip like somebody who needs a hip replacement. I mean, like you're getting to that point, like where every American is just like, nope, I'm gonna freaking take a baseball bat to your hip, man. It's like I don't want your beer. I mean, people are shooting at your beer cans, man. They're buying cases to shoot, and they're not even doing that no more either. They're like, I ain't buying that to shoot it up.
Well, and what they're doing is they're doing buybacks on their stock to try to prop it up. But the reality of this is the next quarter that comes around is going to be even more horrific.
Yeah. Well, 23% down, and it just keeps on going, man. It keeps on going. It's watch the downward spiral. The whole terminology "go woke, go broke." You're watching this live, man. You're watching it live, real time, real time.
Yeah.
Keep it on. What's Starbucks gonna do next week, right? I don't even drink Starbucks coffee.
Right.
You know? Overpriced
It's
crap
coming full
anyway.
circle, man.
U.S. border, man. Stuff's getting lit down there. Title 42 is expiring, man. BBC did a good job on this video. I want to play this video. I know we're going long, y'all. Whatever.
For the last 3 years, migrants and asylum seekers.
Oh,
It's like the Walking
dude, I
Dead.
just made that full screen. I'm sorry.
Title 42, a
Sorry.
COVID-era policy, has kept them for the most part on the Mexican side of the border. But that policy has now expired, and U.S. officials are bracing for an influx of migrants.
13,000 people coming across the border illegally every single day.
So how did the U.S. get here?
In 2020, at the height of the coronavirus pandemic, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued an emergency public health order restricting immigration at U.S. land borders.
Title 42 enabled authorities to swiftly expel migrants trying to cross into the country illegally and to block access to asylum cases. The policy has been used at least 2.5 million times.
Donald Trump welcomed it as a tool to control immigration, and Joe Biden defended the policy for more than a year. In April 2022, the CDC sought to lift Title 42, citing a diminished health risk. But that move was temporarily blocked by a court challenge until now.
As Title 42 ends, Republicans accuse President Biden of allowing open borders, and they blame him for the spike in migrant arrivals. The White House says there will be strict penalties for those who cross illegally, and asylum seekers will be screened quickly and removed if they don't qualify. What happens here at the border will determine who wins that political argument.
Yeah, because they're not doing what they said they're doing. But the CDC is not a regulatory authority. They're not a person that can sit here and tell us, oh, well, man, the Center for, if anything, the Center for Disease Control should actually be like, well, we probably shouldn't be letting a bunch of undocumented people. I mean, bro, we just got over a pandemic, but now they're saying, well, you should repeal this stuff and just open the borders, right? Is this not some Fauci shit, man? I mean, like, for
what I thought
real.
was funny? The fact that they won't force the major corporations are forcing inoculations on their employees. Meanwhile, there's people coming over the border that weren't even inoculated.
Dude, they haven't even been inoculated for anything ever. Smallpox, I mean, nothing. I mean, all the stuff that we had to get as kids, man.
Right.
Like, they're not, oh, man, whatever, just free for all. Send them in, man.
Mumps,
That-
measles,
the
rubella.
the Center for Disease Control is just saying flood our borders with people with no consequence.
Yeah.
right.
They don't.
They're not even a constitutional authority.
They don't have. They have little to no value. It's like the USDA. It's like the FDA. FDA approves drugs, but then
What is it? Oh yeah, USDA is sitting there jumping on that Amish guy a couple weeks ago that we talked about, right? Like, Amish guy selling freaking beef to people. We should get on him, right? Where's our cut? It's just such a. When you start realizing how big the mafia is of government, and that's really what. I mean, bro, you texted me. I just got back from North Carolina on Tuesday. They see my big ass RV in my damn parking area over here, and you're like, man, there's 2 city trucks out there looking at your RV, right? I mean, it's like, do you guys not have anything better to do? I'm allowed to have my vehicle at my property 7 days after a trip, 7 days before a trip.
This is how the morning meeting went. Yeah. Chris is back.
And if I lived on number 7. They probably would have never saw it, but the fact that I live on number 1, they saw it, right?
Send a crew up to Medfield area.
It's just like, Get
man.
off my y'all really got some hang-ups with me. Like I got hang-ups with y'all because you just want to constantly screw with the taxpayer of Bella Vista, right? You want to screw with them. You don't want to focus on the builders that are doing shoddy ass work, right? You just want to screw with me because I'm bringing the property I own on my property in conjunction with your city ordinances. I just got back from a freaking 1,250-mile trip, and you're out there looking at it. What? I saw this here last week. Yeah, I was gone for 7 days, dickhead. I got the mileage to prove it. You know, like, and you know what? I'm rolling out again in a couple of days, man. Yeah, like
You're gonna put a sign.
just leave me the fuck alone. How about that? You know, like,
just put your sign up with a windshield, man. We've only been here for 2 days. Oh man,
3 days and counting. You know, like it's the count a park timer. 3 days and counting. 3 days.
right.
Because I'll play the game. We'll do it down to the hour, right?
Just call.
I got in
tell
at
them you're
2
back in
p.m.
town.
on Tuesday. Yeah.
Call the city and tell them I just pulled in. So I just want to give you a heads up.
I
Okay?
shouldn't have to deal with these guys. I mean, like for real, like they have no grace to them, man. If you're out there looking at my RV the day after I pull in, it's hilarious. You know, leave me alone.
Right.
So, good credit, bad credit, it don't matter no more. Do you have good credit score? Biden wants to punish you for it. That's right, baby. The goal is to encourage more home ownership. But what's the message that President Joe Biden and Democrats are sending here? It's definitely not one of rewarding smart decisions. You may have missed the memo, but Biden administration's federal housing, FHFA, created a new rule which took effect on Monday. It changes mortgage fees based on the borrower's credit score. Here's why you should care.
This is, to me.
Tell me about it, Mr. Real Estate Man.
To me, this just, if you take care of your bills, you take care of everything, you pay for everything, you manage your money, you don't bury yourself with credit card debt, then you should be rewarded with a lower interest rate, right?
You should have a really low rate. If you have like a 780 or above, man, if you have a 750 or above, you should be rewarded, right? Lower interest rate.
This is like socialism. So because Chris and Mark pay their bills, therefore you're going to go purchase a house. There's going to be higher fees because we want to redistribute that more money that you're going to pay for someone that's mismanaged their money their whole life.
So I don't get a reduced rate for being like having like stellar credit? What are you talking about, Willis? What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's more fees. This is another part of the socialism experiment at the end of the day. So it's just crazy. This is just craziness. I mean, listen, he's being a puppet. Someone else is putting it in motion here. And
I think really what the end game is here, right, bro, is we just need to like change the podcast title. Send Meteor now.
Send Meteor.
Yeah. Meteor for 2024. We're gonna just get some bumper stickers printed out, man. You want a bumper sticker? Meteor 2024. That's it,
But
man.
It just tells you how gone he is in his administration. I mean, it's just craziness.
How can you punish somebody for having good credit? like I've adulted my whole life, man. Like
Chris,
the majority of my life.
You've been doing such a good job paying your bills. We're going to charge you more. Oh, thank you. Can I have another one?
Please, sir. Please, sir. Let me get some more credit. Like, please, no. I mean, cash money, man.
The thing is, nobody says anything. It's just comical to me. I mean, he's going to be.
Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense, right? Yeah. So the Joe that's got like a 480 credit score can actually buy a home. I have to pay his fees. That makes sense, right? It does.
Then when he defaults on his loan, then you're going to have more issues on top of that. But hey, what do we know, man? at the end of the day. He's going to go.
It's almost like they made like people with good credit co-signers for people with bad credit. You know, like
Yeah, I mean, it's a different way of looking at it.
like,
but it's the
look,
truth.
man, look, you have a loan with us. He's got a loan with us. He didn't pay his loan, and now you
gonna
have
charge
to you're going to lose your house because he didn't pay his loan, right? You're a co-signer.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
sign up for that. Sorry. Yeah, that's why I won't be refinancing anytime in the near future, brother.
Oh, these are new loans, and it's only managed on federal loans, but the federal loans are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which account for probably 80% of the loans
Well,
out there.
Fannie and Freddie need to go fuck off, man. I'm sorry. Oh, pardon my French, man. Pardon my French, y'all. This is just not the way that like America is supposed to work. It's not.
He's going to be going down as the worst president.
America is supposed to work off of like you achieve the American dream by perseverance and hard work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter your race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, or anything. You get down there, you knuckle up, you strap up your boots, you do the right thing, you assimilate into this country,
Right.
and you can achieve the dream. So many people have done it. Right?
Yeah. There's so many immigrants that came to this country. I mean, I'll go back to my grandfather coming in from Ellis Island, from Poland, immigrated. A lot of people immigrated, and they went to Ellis Island, man, and they didn't have anything.
Right.
Nothing. They
But
didn't know
what?
where
But
they were
if
gonna
we
live.
if we look at these metrics and like, I want to see some demographics on these, like the decisions behind this, because I guarantee you, the majority of people that are taking Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loans, with good credit now, are possibly, of the lighter skin tone people, right?
Yeah,
They had hardships. They got into it. They bought their first home. They got in there, but now we're gonna go after those people.
Right. And here's the thing: your defaults are going to go up even higher.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The defaults are going to go through the roof. So then you're going to be bailing out the banks. You
So
see
it's
all
just
the banks bailing out?
further bankrupting our nation by this dumbass decision. So
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm a little fired up, y'all. Y'all don't know, man. Y'all don't know. It's been a rough. I'm tired, but I'm still doing a podcast. Okay. So pardon my French tonight. Pardon my French. Just a poquito, a little bit, but I don't know, man. I don't even know, man. What direction are we going? I'll tell you what direction we're going. Artificial intelligence could replace up to 80% of human jobs. That's cool.
This is scary stuff.
So now we're divvying out loans, and 80% of our jobs are going away. I don't believe this.
This isn't a bad deal because most people can't carry a regular conversation anyway. So maybe we can talk to some robots.
I don't think that artificial intelligence is there. A lot of people want to sit there and think it is, but like artificial intelligence plagiarizes stuff. There's so many laws for intellectual property that have to be like worked out before artificial intelligence could even be viable on the writing or anything like that. I think artificial intelligence can augment, supervisory jobs to a degree, but I think as long as artificial intelligence is fallible and there's no human aspect to it, right? If you ask artificial intelligence, how do we stop global warming? It's like, get rid of humans. Well, sweet. Let's do that then, right? Let's save the globe, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, it's not viable. There are no checks. The checks and balances are not there, and
This is like an arms
it still
race for
requires
people.
human review.
Right. Absolutely. Meta's getting involved with it heavy. Then, a little bit of everybody is getting involved with it. So
Yeah,
we'll see where it goes.
I'm gonna get a Chat GPT. I'm like, I get so many spam phone calls from like Karen trying to sell me life insurance and stuff.
Right.
Or auto warranties getting ready to expire or all this other crap, student loan debt forgiveness.
Right.
I don't want to give
Block
I don't
all
want to
that.
give my phone number to ChatGPT just to have an account. I'm gonna give them your phone number and then I'll just like have an account, bro. And then we'll see what we can do with it.
Yeah.
Enjoy those auto dials in the near future.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. Well, secret campaign used thousands of New Yorkers' identities without consent to influence federal policies in New York AG states. Well,
So that was the net neutrality.
yeah.
So they're asking for public comment. Remember that? So
Well,
they
they
manipulated
were
all the public
asking
comment.
they were asking for public comment a couple years ago with net neutrality when they passed
Right.
like this whole like thing, and I was so ticked off that like I was like, this is a moment where any politician could sit here and say, we need to have an internet constitution. Like when we need to start, like the government needs to protect people's rights on the internet. And they didn't do it. They just like, oh, as long as the government gets all the data from your internet service providers, we don't care
So
about
this is
what
what-
the internet service providers do to the people.
So this is why they're throttling our show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people don't really understand that, but it's true. You don't have it's
Yeah,
like a free-for-all.
ISPs can block you. They can throttle you. They can downgrade your quality of service, the whole 9 yards, because
can't
they
do
can be
anything about it.
told. They can be told by specific politicians to do that too. And people don't get that. They don't understand it.
No.
The internet should be, well, first off, the internet was created off of taxpayer dollars, right? So it should be a free for all.
Right.
Now there should be a regulatory authority over that and I said this years ago. I said this probably back in 2006, man, because of the porn industry. I was like, it's so easy to do, and it's not First Amendment violation. It's anything that has adult content needs to be on XXX, like instead of .com, .xxx. It's easy to block off the board, right? It's like I set a firewall up. The government says that adult content has to be there. I just set a firewall up. Bam, done. Right?
Right.
But kids in school, I mean, what was it? Whitehouse.com, right? That was a thing back in the day. Whitehouse.com. It was a porn site. People go to whitehouse.com. Kids be like, I want to check out what the president's doing from their school account, right? Yeah. Oh, it's a porn site. What the hell? Right? I mean, it's so easy to classify content and get it done so easily by doing the subdomains, right? Like the extension, edu, educational, gov, government,
Yep.
adult, XXX.
Right.
Right?
Right. It's a free for all, man.
No.
It's a free.
But that's the easy way to do it and not have to like deal with all this other bullshit. But I don't know. What do I know? I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So, sorry. Should have stayed there. But I mean, like, I got great ideas, but people just don't. They just want
People don't want to.
They just want to keep doing.
Man.
They want to keep on doing what they're doing and exploiting people and putting kids at risk. The whole 9 yards. So that's it, man. I think that we're gonna call it a show. That was an hour and a half show.
I enjoyed it, man.
Hopefully, every one of our viewers that watched tonight enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm a little tired.
Well, we appreciate everybody.
I don't think
tuning
I'm
in.
fully inebriated yet. We'll get there a little bit later, brother. But yeah, that's it. What
All
you
right,
got?
everybody. That's it, man. Everybody have a great night. We appreciate you tuning in. Please share, like, and subscribe, man.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, stay happy, healthy, humble, be nice to one another, and if you run into somebody who's a Biden supporter, just smack the hell out of them. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. I will tell you this though, you could say some strong words to them. What is wrong with you? We out. Love you
Have a great
guys.
weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the flip side.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever.